And as the March primary nears, the candidates for Sacramento mayor, they are busy making their case to voters. So all week, the candidates vying to be the next mayor of Sacramento have joined us in studio to discuss their campaign. So we're going to conclude our series tonight with former state senator Dr. Richard Pan. Dr. Pan is a pediatrician and former state lawmaker who served in both the Assembly and Senate before leaving office in 2022. He was the author of a bill that's a 2015 vaccine bill that eliminated the personal belief exemption for children attending schools, one of many pieces of legislation he worked on. So if elected, Dr. Pan would be the first Asian American to serve as mayor of Sacramento. Dr. Pan joining us right now on Fox 40. Dr. Pan, we're in the home stretch right now.
That's right. Thank you, Nikki.
Appreciate you being here. So in the spirit of fairness, if our viewers are just joining us now and they didn't see our interviews from earlier this week with the other candidates, I want to start the conversation with the biggest topic in the state right now. In cities large and small, they are trying to deal with the homeless crisis right now. So I want to ask you something because, like I said to all the candidates, we didn't get here overnight, so this isn't going to be fixed overnight. So what is something specific that you could do if you are elected mayor where the people of Sacramento would see some sort of change? One small thing.
Well, what we need to do is we need results. We need to see that we're helping people get off the streets. I'm proud to be endorsed by the DA, Tien Ho. I'm going to be his partner in being sure that we get people off the streets, we restore order to our public spaces, our sidewalks, our streets, our parks, and we also need to get people housed. We need to maximize the production of housing we have. We also need to keep people from ending up on the street. And so, in fact, while I was in the legislature, I authored legislation to establish CalAIM, which actually allows us to draw down federal money through the Medi-Cal program to help people stay housed. Because I know the state has a budget deficit, the city has a budget deficit. So this is a way for us to get resources to help keep people from ending up on the street so we don't keep adding to those numbers.
All right, so those are broad picture ideas, but what is something specific, a change that you can make within your first year in office?
Well, as I said, first of all, we want to not add to the numbers of people who are on the street, right? So that's going to be important because that number has kept growing all the time. The other thing that we also need is we need the city to be much more responsive to the residents of the city. So right now, the city staff has reported 120 complaints a day through 311 about homelessness, people who are unhoused on the streets. And it takes 16 days for the city to respond. We've got to do much better than that. We should not take 2 weeks to respond to people when they have a concern in their neighborhood, in their business, their homes. We can do much better than that. And then, of course, what we need to do is we also need to identify more places for people to go so they don't have to stay on the streets, right? And so certainly I'm going to work as mayor to be sure we have places for people to go. And then we want, again, not adding to the people who are there, and then also being sure that we're much more responsive to the residents of the city.
All right, so narrow down those response time. I want to ask you about encampments, specific camping.
Yes.
You see it around City Hall. I asked you a couple of your other colleagues about this as well. And where do you stand on this? Do you think that camping should be allowed in Sacramento?
No, we should not be having people camping, thereby obstructing our public spaces, potentially even making them unsafe. We don't need to have light and trash, right? We need to maintain order in our public spaces. That's why I'm proud to be endorsed by our district attorney, because he knows I'm the partner he needs to be sure that we can follow through and maintain order in our public spaces, keep people safe, right? Public safety is a core function of government. So I'm going to be relentlessly focused on being sure we address our homeless issue and that we also be sure that our public spaces are places that are accessible to everyone. All right, so all of us should be able to enjoy our public spaces.
All right, so since you brought up public safety, that is a perfect segue into my next question. There's an effort right now. It started as a Republican effort. It's bipartisan. You have Mayor London Breed of San Francisco, Mayor Matt Mahan of San Jose, and also Mayor Todd Gloria of San Diego, who you served with in the legislature. They have joined this effort to repeal Prop 47. There's been a lot of discussion about Prop 47. Lawmakers in the state capitol don't want to touch it. The governor says all of our issues with public safety have nothing to do with Prop 47. That's what he's saying right now. But if you were to become mayor of Sacramento, would you join these Democratic mayors in supporting an effort like this?
I've already announced that I am supporting reforms to Prop 47 because, after all, we should be talking about solutions, not politics, not partisanship, right? Unfortunately, with Prop 47, we've taken away tools that our prosecutors and law enforcement need in order to keep crime from rising, particularly retail theft crime. right? We need to be sure that our businesses can thrive, that they don't end up closing or going away from our neighborhoods because, frankly, organized crime is stealing it, right? So we're not interested in jailing a one-time person who made a mistake. But if someone's systematically basically targeting our retail centers, our stores, that person should actually should be sure that we have a penalty that will deter them from doing that. And that's why we need to give those tools to our law enforcement, to our DA, so that they can go after them and actually have a penalty that makes them pay attention and get them to stop.
You're a pediatrician, but you served in state government for a while too. What do you say to people that might be watching this conversation that might go, wait a minute, this guy has been in office for a long time. We have all these problems. Why should we trust him to fix them?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, one of the things I learned when I was in state government and the state legislature is that, well, we can certainly get money for local governments. We can pass laws. Implementation happens locally. So that happens at the city and the county level. The other thing is that as your state legislator, I got results, and that's why I'm running, because we need results. People want to see results. So when I first started in the state legislature, we had a $28 billion state deficit. When I left, $30 billion reserve. When I started as a doctor, we had our uninsured rate was 17%. When I left, it was 7%. Those are real differences that I made in people's lives by my service in the state legislature. That's what I'm going to do as mayor, and that's what I think people want. They want results.
Okay, so in the commercial break, we were talking about voter turnout. It's low right now from what we're seeing, but there's still time.
Yes.
Election day is Tuesday. So for those folks that have their ballots on their counters, maybe in the front seat of their car, maybe just, they go, you know what, my voice doesn't matter. What is your closing argument to voters? Why should they vote for you?
Your voice does matter. We need to rebuild confidence in city leadership. We need results. We got to stop kicking the can down the road. You want a mayor who is going to focus on solving the top problems of the people of the city. That is homelessness. As I heard of talking to voters all across the city, public safety, keeping people safe. That's what I'm going to focus on, and I have a record of delivering results, because that's what we need. We don't need to keep talking about these issues. We need to get them solved, right? So that's what I'm going to do as mayor. That's why I'm running.
All right, Dr. Richard Pan, candidate for mayor, we appreciate you joining us here in studio. Good luck over the next couple of days as you canvass Sacramento and finish your campaign out. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, Nikki.
You can find all of our interviews with the Sacramento mayoral candidates. They are online, including our previous interviews that we did earlier this week with Steve Hansen, Dr. Flojan Kofer, Assemblymember Kevin McCarty, and we'll have Dr. Pans online in just a few minutes too. You can head to fox40.com for all of that.